That person who keeps showing up in your life? Those recurring dreams and numbers that follow you everywhere? Carl Jung had a name for it: synchronicity. And according to Jung, they're not random coincidences. They're messages from your unconscious mind trying to tell you something important. But are these signs real? Or is your mind playing an elaborate trick? We've all experienced it. That unsettling moment when something feels too perfect to be coincidence. The ex you were just thinking about suddenly texts you after months of silence. The same unusual number appears on your clock, license plates, and receipts. A book falls open to exactly the page with the answer you've been seeking. These moments leave us frozen, caught between rational explanation and something deeper. Something that whispers, "This means something." But does it really? These experiences are so universal that entire industries have formed around them. Psychics, fortune tellers, and spiritual advisors all promising to decode these messages. But what if the truth is both simpler and more profound? These moments stand at the crossroads of two powerful worldviews: Carl Jung's concept of synchronicity and the Stoic philosophy of rational judgment. One sees meaning in coincidence. The other questions if we're simply creating patterns where none exist. Jung, one of psychology's founding fathers, developed the concept of the collective unconscious, a shared reservoir of experiences common to all humans. He believed synchronicities were glimpses into this deeper reality. Meanwhile, Stoic philosophers like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius advocated for careful reasoning before assigning meaning to random events. Today, we're diving deep into both perspectives to answer a question that's haunted humans for centuries. Is the universe communicating with us? Or are we just desperate to find meaning in randomness? And more importantly, does it even matter which is true if these moments can transform our lives? Carl Jung didn't just believe in coincidence, he revolutionized how we understand it. In the 1920s, while treating his patients, Jung noticed something strange. Their dreams and thoughts often mirrored real-world events that had no logical connection. He called this phenomenon synchronicity. Unlike simple coincidence, synchronicity carries personal significance. It's not just something unexpected, it's something meaningful that seems to reflect your inner state. Jung defined synchronicity as a causal connecting principle. A fancy way of saying these connections aren't about cause and effect. They're about meaning. That person who keeps reappearing in your life isn't there because of some chain of events, but because they represent something significant in your unconscious mind. The classic example Jung used was a therapy session where a patient described dreaming about a scarab beetle. At that exact moment, a similar beetle tapped against Jung's window. The timing wasn't random. It represented a breakthrough in the patient's treatment. So what's actually happening during these moments? Jung believed our conscious mind only perceives a fraction of reality. The rest, our fears, desires, unresolved conflicts, exists in what he called the unconscious. When something in our external world aligns with this hidden inner world, synchronicity occurs. As Jung famously said, the psyche is not contained in you. You are contained in it. These meaningful coincidences aren't messages from outside. They're projections of your unconscious, urging growth, closure, or transformation. While Jung embraced the mysterious connection between mind and matter, the ancient Stoics would urge us to proceed with caution. The Stoics weren't opposed to the concept of fate. They actually embraced the idea of a rational, ordered universe governed by what they called the logos, or universal reason. But they were deeply skeptical of superstition and reading too much into everyday occurrences. Seneca, one of Stoicism's most eloquent voices, wrote, "Fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling." This suggests that patterns in our lives do exist, but our response to them matters more than the patterns themselves. The Stoic approach to those recurring signs and coincidences would be methodical and pragmatic. Instead of immediately assigning cosmic significance, they would ask penetrating questions. First, is this helping me grow in virtue? The Stoics believed that moral excellence, courage, justice, wisdom, and moderation was life's ultimate purpose. Any sign that doesn't lead to these qualities might be a distraction. Second, does this make me stronger or weaker? Recurring patterns that leave you anxious or dependent on external validation would be viewed with suspicion by a Stoic. And finally, Am I being led, or am I escaping responsibility? This cuts to the heart of the Stoic worldview. Are you using signs from the universe as an excuse to avoid difficult choices? Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, would remind us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. In other words, we tend to find exactly what we're looking for, whether it's there or not. These two perspectives, Jung's embrace of meaningful coincidence and the Stoic commitment to rational judgment, might seem contradictory. But what if they're actually complementary? What if we can navigate life's strange patterns with both wonder and wisdom? The key lies in combining Jung's deep respect for the unconscious with the Stoic practice of thoughtful examination. When strange coincidences occur, we can approach them as both messengers from our deeper selves and opportunities for rational reflection. Consider that person who keeps reappearing in your life. The Jungian perspective asks, what do they represent to you? What unresolved emotion or unrealized potential might they be mirroring back? Meanwhile, the Stoic approach asks, how does this relationship affect your character? Does it make you more or less virtuous? Or those recurring symbols and numbers? Jung would see them as archetypes emerging from your unconscious, parts of yourself demanding attention. The Stoics would ask if focusing on these patterns leads to practical wisdom or merely superstition. The most powerful approach combines both. Acknowledge the pattern, explore its personal meaning, then apply rational judgment to decide how or if to respond. Remember, Jung said we don't create symbols, symbols create us. But the Stoics would add that we always maintain the freedom to choose our response to these symbols. The true wisdom lies not in chasing signs or dismissing them, but in understanding their message while maintaining your autonomy. Don't ask, is this coincidence real? Ask instead, what might this moment be asking of me? The universe doesn't speak in words, it speaks in patterns. These patterns, whether cosmic messages or psychological projections, carry insights that can transform how we understand ourselves and our place in the world. But here's what both Jung and the Stoics would agree on. It's not the sign that changes your life, it's your response to it. When that same person keeps reappearing, when that dream won't leave you alone, when that symbol follows you everywhere, don't just ask, why is this happening? Ask, what am I not seeing in myself? This is where Jung's concept of psychological projection becomes especially powerful. Just as he discovered with intense romantic attraction, these synchronicities are often mirrors reflecting parts of yourself that need integration. In fact, if you've been experiencing these meaningful coincidences frequently, you've already begun a profound psychological journey. To understand how this same mechanism works in your romantic relationships, and why that overwhelming attraction you feel isn't about them at all, watch our video on Carl Jung's mind-blowing revelation on why you keep obsessing over the wrong women. It reveals how your unconscious mind uses others to show you the missing pieces of yourself. What synchronicity has appeared most frequently in your life recently? A recurring number? A specific animal? Or perhaps a person who keeps showing up unexpectedly? Share in the comments, because recognizing the pattern is your first step toward understanding the message your unconscious is trying to deliver. The coincidence that's been puzzling you isn't just random. It's your psyche's map to becoming whole.